Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust, Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in on the replay. This is the best trust. If you're going through a divorce, episode 704. Definitely appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in on the replay. Once again, this is best trust for going through a divorce. Obviously, we have to talk about some very controversial topics, but we're going to do it today. So, appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens to the replay. Y'all just don't know how many people actually reach out to us and they plan and they exit and they want to put a trust in place. And it's crazy that that's the reality of life. The other significant other doesn't really know what's going on. And in turn, we have numerous trustees that'll put assets inside of a trust. So, we're going to talk about it today because this is kind of a misnomer. Once again, there's over 80 different types of trust. So when it comes to people saying, hey, I want to make sure I put my assets in the right position, how are they going to put their assets in the right position when in all actuality, they don't know which trust to pick? And the lawyers, we're not going to talk bad about lawyers today. We're almost look at them as brokers. That's what these people are. They're brokering you away to the system. They're handing you over to the system. They don't help you solve the problem privately, so you're in the public. Then you got to deal with court fees. You got to deal with court fees when you go to court. So that's why the lawyer's going to benefit. It's a guaranteed check. But if they were to help you out privately, you could have a different story. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. We know a bunch of people listen to the vault and they want the best content when it comes to that. They want the best consulting when it comes to that. And we know that we provide that. We've had many trustees literally plan their great exit from their relationship. And it's not unfortunate, it's just a reality of life. Some people could look at that as like a bad situation, but people don't really know what other people are going through. But we do want to highlight in this particular episode the best trust because there's over 80 different type of trusts. Of course, you got your family trust, you got your business trust, you got your asset protection trust, you got your 642B or 643B or whatever type of trust. They got an ecclesiastical trust. They got a trust. They got a testamentary trust. They have what is that? Someone for somebody that has disabilities. All type of stuff. We just can keep going on and on and on. You got your revocable. You got your irrevocable. So which one are you set up in? And which one's best for that divorce? We're gonna go ahead and give y'all the shake and skinny so y'all can reach out because you're not protected. And we know you're not protected. And if you want to play around with it, go ahead. But we also are very aware that, once again, let's just say, we'll give you an example. Trustees or people will reach out and say, oh, I have a trust, and they're married. And they'll be like, but I'm going through something and I just want to make sure I'm good. And it's like, well, okay, what type of trust do you have? They don't know. We asked them who created the trust. They don't know. We're going to let you know. If you created the trust, your significant other can penetrate it. We actually just saw a major athlete, young guys, NBA player. We'll give you an example of how this looks. They were like, oh, he bought a house. Y'all can Google the story. It's called Ja Morant, Jamorant. Ja Morant. That's the athlete's name. He's a basketball player, a well-known basketball player, a high-paid basketball player in the NBA. And there was a report that just came out that says, oh, Ja Morant bought a house in Miami in a trust. That's how you know he created the trust. Because if it's in a trust, why would he need to be known for that? Granted, we get that the realtor wants to get props for reeling in the athlete. We get props that the seller wants to get props for reeling in the athlete. But how is that protecting his privacy if we know the house that he just bought? And what benefit is buying it in the house other than him being sued out of it? Oh, can we talk like that? We could talk like that. We have no problem with talking like that because we're very aware of what's going on. So the athlete supposedly bought the house in a trust. He bought the house with a trust. He put the money in a trust and the trust bought the house. But somehow the public, so it's not private, it's not a private trust, it's a public trust, which means he probably created the trust. Somebody on his team said, hey, we should create a trust and buy the house. Okay, but somehow it got in the public that you own it. So you really didn't separate yourself from the asset. So you own it indirectly. It's considered an alter ego. We can have these conversations. See, the lawyers, they don't have these conversations because they make money off you. We do too, but they make a different type of fee. They're going to take you to court. They're going to, why would they give you all of the advice at one time? Then you wouldn't need them. Oh, don't say it like that, Trust Christian. What are you talking about? Like, so you think ignorance of the law is an excuse? So you say, okay, how does that relate to me? He bought a house. Well, once again, if you buy the asset, quote unquote, excuse us, if you own the trust, like everybody tries to say they do, oh, I have a trust, I own a trust. Yeah, you own a trust, which means you're still liable. The lawyer didn't tell you that. The person that set up the trust didn't tell you that. You're still liable. See, working with the vault, you don't own the trust, but you do manage it. You hear the difference in mentality? So let's continue that conversation. So you're in some situation with a significant other, and they're going to try to say that you created the trust. We have not left this point yet. You created the trust, right? I went to Trust Christian in the vault. I went to the lawyer, and they created the trust. But who is the creator, the grantor? Oh. So now we're going to try to get people to subvert the vault. Try to say, oh, I know how to do it. Okay, great. But we also know many don't. And they're not going to create it the correct way, the proper way, to where you trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. If you like to reach out for a consultation, you can feel free to reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian@trustchristian.com. But we want to do this episode in specific. Oh, I'm going through a divorce, Trust Christian. I'm thinking about filing, but I want to make sure I got my affairs in order first before they try to go ahead and get at me, because I'm the one that got the assets in my name and I need to put them inside of a trust. That's what they say to us. And you got the lawyers, why would they help you? Oh man, don't say it like that. We know people, man, the stories of divorces are unreal. But most people don't have faith in their lawyer. They don't. They just, oh man, a lawyer, man, I gotta have a lawyer, man. Okay. So the lawyer tells you, we've had trustees come to us and say, oh yeah, the lawyer told me I should slow down making money because we're going through a divorce and the other partner, they're going to get me because I'm the one making the most money. I'm the breadwinner. Think about how stupid, it's called stupid, that advice is. Your lawyer, the one that's charging you fees, is telling you to slow down on making money so you could pay them and move on with your life. That's how idiotic the marketplace is if you're not educated. Oh yeah, you should slow down making money because if you don't, they're just gonna keep being able to get it because you're the breadwinner. That's what they say to people. We've had trustees tell us this. Oh yeah, don't go out and acquire any more assets. You don't want to do that because they can get at him because you haven't gotten a divorce yet. They don't know. We're just gonna admit it. Can you admit it? They don't know. They didn't put the right trust in place. They put a living trust in place. For all y'all that don't know, you can look into it. Ask your lawyer. Ask the person set up. Did you set up a living trust for me? Am I in a living trust? Is it a trust that I created on paper? But how many people are aware of that? How many people are clear on that? They're not. They don't know. So the lawyer tells them, oh yeah, well, you can't really protect your assets while you're going through a divorce because they're in your name, quote unquote. So they don't share with you how to take the assets out of your name. So we'll give you an example what it looks like going through the vault, possibly, whether it's trust or silent partner or an investment firm. These are type of terms, things that we move on. So yes, for some of you all that have businesses and you're looking to protect your business, quote unquote, I started it when I was married. He or she is supposed to get half. Not the case. Okay, well, and remember, there's public and there's private. The reason why the state's getting at you and they're giving half of dividing the estate is because the estate is in the public. The trust that you and your significant other have created, the marriage contract, it's in the public. The state gets to regulate that. So let's continue the conversation. So let's just say you're in a situation where you're like, oh, I got a corporation, LLC, whatever it is. And okay, you clearly are the majority owner right now. You might be the only owner, but you're the majority owner. Okay. Even if you're a part owner, we definitely are big fans of purchase sale agreements. But we're going to stick to what we're talking about here today, which is uh, once again, let's just say you're in a company like, oh, I got a cleaning company. We're just using this as an example. Somebody's got some type of cleaning company or something, and they're making, $1 million a year. Once again, there are things called silent partners. There are things called buyouts. You can be bought out very quickly, be diluted very quickly, not have ownership tomorrow, and the divorce hasn't been filed yet. But that doesn't mean that the sale of the company isn't legitimate. That doesn't mean that you just got a hostile takeover taking over your company. You think hostile takeovers aren't real? You think hostile takeovers don't happen? They do. So can a hostile takeover happen to your company, quote unquote, by an outside entity that you don't control? I mean, excuse us, that you don't own? Of course. A hostile takeover. Hey, honey, yeah, I owned it, but next thing you know, lost ownership right before the divorce. It was a hostile takeover by an adverse party and a different party. I don't own it. Oh no! Don't tell me that, Trust Christian. I already went through a divorce. That's $1 million too late. That's $500,000 too late. That's $100,000 too late. Oh, we know those stories. $1 million easy. $500,000 easy. $250,000 definitely. People drop that much through a divorce. They lose that much money through a divorce. Oh man, so you're telling me I could put my assets in a trust while I'm married? Of course. The only difference is, do you own the trust? The only difference is, are you the owner? That's the question. And we talk about this with trustees. Simple as that. Do you own the asset? Do you own it? Okay, for example, you say, oh, Church Christian, give me another example. Okay, so you own a company, a construction company, whatever it is, real estate company, okay, and you're the sole owner. Can Trust Christian and Vault come in and become a partner in that company tomorrow without your significant other's permission? Yes, we can. They are not on the company. And in turn, we could come in, become the silent partner, and push you into a minority position. Oh no, Trust Christian. The lawyer didn't tell me that. Create a strategy. Exactly, because then it would, you would think they would. It still could involve them being involved in the paperwork, but they're not private. They're public. We're private. We work with trustees in a private capacity. That's why you can't even do what we're talking about, because you're putting the assets in a private position. Oh man, I got a bunch of cars, Trust Christian. I got some money. So you saying if I got some money and some assets, I could just go place that in a trust that I don't own, and somehow my significant other's not going to be able to come and get at the assets. Well, who would they be getting at the assets for? Really, they would be getting at the assets for you. If you own the assets, they would have access to them. If you control if you own the assets, if you're liable for the assets, they can come after you. Some people say, well, what if the assets you took them out of, if I took them out of my name and put them in a trust that I don't own? Did you hear that? You don't own it. So how can your significant other come after you for something you don't own? It's like you working a job. Can your significant other sue the job and say, oh yeah, I'm entitled to the money? What are you talking about? The job doesn't have a contract with the significant other, especially if you're living. They have a contract with the being that's actually doing the work for the contract. That's that. So when we talk about, oh man, does the significant other have access to the money if it's not in your name? Is the money in your name? Did you take the money out of your name? But I did that when we were married. And do you guys file taxes together? Do you file separately? What difference does it make? Why? What you own, you're liable for. What you own, you're liable for. What you don't own, you're not liable for. But I gave the assets away while I was married. And If you lose an asset, because when you say give it away, you lost it. When you give it away, you lost it. It's not a bad thing, but it's technical lost. If we come in and do a hostile takeover of your company, it's a loss. But how many people are aware of that? How many people know how to do that? How come your lawyer did? I'm in a marriage. I thought I couldn't put my assets in a trust because I'm married right now. That's called public lawyer advice, and it's not accurate. You don't want to hear how many people put their assets in a trust right before they file a divorce. The unfortunate part is it's going in the right trust. The unfortunate part is if you put it in the wrong trust, when the court says, "Oh, we need to subpoena any, once again, assets." If the trust is looked at as you own it, so for all of y'all that still calling the trust that you own it, oh, I own the trust, I own the trust, I have a trust. For all of y'all that keep saying that, y'all already should be prepared for your significant other to feel like they got some type of ability to grab your assets or grab the assets. And we've had many trustees go through the program. Oh man, y'all don't even want to know how many trustees gone through the program and they was married and they pretty much prepared. So they got in trustee training, preparing for the exit. They got in and they put the trust system in place and they walked away from the divorce looking like they didn't have anything. Y'all don't want to hear it. There are a lot of men that will say, "Oh man, I'm not even working a job. How I'm gonna pay child support?" Y'all don't want to hear how ugly it could get. When you don't own anything, how you gonna pay child support for all y'all foolishness? Well, oh man, I gotta pay child support because they're gonna check my income. Well, if you don't own income because you work for the company and you're not receiving a salary, oh man, we always tell trustees, where in the law does it say you have to take a salary? No one has showed that to us. Y'all bring it up for credit purposes. Oh, I need to get credit on my personal name. I need to be able to buy a house. How am I going to buy a house, Trust Christian? Oh, how am I going to get credit? How am I going to get personal credit? Because you're not thinking like a business owner still. Now, how am I going to get personal credit? Because business credit and personal credit are two different things. How am I going to get credit? I don't have anything in my name. And that's the problem. Is when you have things in your name, people can see those things. And in turn, they have access to be able to subpoena them in court. Oh man, Trust Christian involved. What do you mean? How? The lawyers never explained that to me. They never told me that I could take my assets while I'm married and put it inside of a trust, but it is a certain type of trust. Granted, I went to them and told them I want them to do a trust, but they didn't give me the real details on which type of trust it is. That's fair. We know that happens all the time. That's why people reach out to the vault, because we talk specifically about private trust. They're private. It's not public. The contract's constructed a certain way. That's a fact. But oh no, the public lawyer, what did they say? Oh yeah, you can't do that. What are you talking about? And y'all don't even want to know that the lawyers be the same people doing that. Y'all don't even want to know the politicians be the same people doing that. They go into a marriage, they dang near set everything up post the marriage because they don't even really care about prenups. Some people ain't no one typed into the chat yet. Oh yeah, well, what's up with the prenups, Trust Christian involved? What's up with the prenup? What's up with the any of that type of stuff? Or the will. Why would you need a prenup when you're in trust and you don't own it? Why would you need a prenup? Why would you need a will when you in trust and you don't own it? The will is for people that own assets. The trust is for people that want to trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Y'all could feel free to reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, Christian@trustchristian.com. We got a bunch of people that are reaching out right now. Trustees, people starting out this year, wanting to make sure that their affairs in order. What are you talking about? You can't open up a trust, quote unquote. You can't work with someone, work with some group or whoever to make sure that your assets are protected at all times. You individually, not the family. You could set that up, no doubt about it, for the family, but how many people are terrified for their individual situation? But I got a business, Trust Christian, and I own it. The lawyer didn't tell me I could take the business out of my name and put it in a trust. And it's not illegal. How is it illegal? What's illegal about it? Y'all share with us. We sit in front of the lawyers. None of them share with us that it's illegal. They tell you, oh, if it goes into a certain type of trust, the significant other will still have access. But do you know what type of trust it is that will give you that full protection? It's over 80 different types of trust. Oh man, don't tell me that trust Christian involved 80 different types of trust. So what is that supposed to mean? How am I gonna know which one to do? The lawyers didn't give me the shake and skinny. That's why you gotta continue to develop your education. The fact that you're aware of trust, you just gotta continue to go down the rabbit hole. Why? Because there's clearly you see that there's a disparity in education. So one lawyer ain't gonna recommend the same trust as another lawyer gonna recommend as the same trust. So what difference does that make? It makes a big difference. That's why you reach out to the vault. That's why we've been able to help people 100%. Shout out to all the trustees. We actually have one of our trustees reached out, actually increased their revenue $500,000 in 6 months last year. So we're going to be doing a testimonial with them. We do business management consulting. We do accountability coaching. If you would like to, make it a point to have that level of education, once again, consulting. That's what you need. You need business management consult. Every entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur has a coach. They don't want to hear that though. People in the public don't want to hear that. Oh man, I can't afford it. Well, uh, if you can't afford a coach to go to the next level, you're gonna keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Simple as that. So, individuals want to reach out. We had two trustees, actually three trustees. One of the trustees, he reaches out. It's a family. They're like, oh yeah, we didn't apply for our letter of determination for 2 years. 2 years. They haven't applied for their letter of determination so they can lower the tax liability through the private foundation. Yeah, Trust Christian and us, we applied for it, and guess what? We still have a 100% track record. That's what we do at the vault. I made a mistake, Trust Christian. I didn't do the paperwork yet. I gotta make sure I do the paperwork. I gotta execute the contract. I gotta open up the bank account. That's what you get accountability coaching for. Another group of trustees. Oh man, Trust Christian, I need to get the letter of determination to say I'm putting the money into a charitable 501c3. So when the money goes into the 501c3, it's legally in a charitable position. It's legally a write-off for me as much as I could take. It's a legal write-off for the business as much as it could take. Oh yeah, I'm following the same principles that the athletes and the politicians do. I gotta have a private family foundation. I gotta have a foundation. Exactly. That's simple. So we help some trustees get the letter of determination. They good to go. We could never see them ever again, and they'll have an entity, quote unquote, that basically gives them a tax write-off. The trust doesn't do that. The foundation can do that. The trust, well, how would the trust do that? It's a person. It's just like me and you. It's a legal person. People don't want to hear this type of stuff though. Oh, don't tell me I can get a trust while before I get a divorce, or don't tell me I can get a trust while I'm married. Isn't that wrong? Isn't that a form of infidelity? Nah, because in the era of divorces being so high, you almost have to protect yourself. And individuals that are walking into relationships that are pretty serious and you want to protect your holdings and protect the other party involved, you just gonna go into trust. You're not gonna do a prenup. I know we know people hear about prenup. Think about all this information y'all hear in the public. Oh, get a prenup, get a will, get this, get that. All those documents take you to court. Private trust don't take you to court. We already told you you don't even have to deal with child support. Oh, we're not being gender specific, so please forgive us here. It's not a gender specific indictment. Oh yeah, she's pulling me in court, or he's pulling me in court, so they can get money up out of me. I don't want to give them anything. I had a business, but I feel I have anxiety. I have anxiety because I don't want to get a divorce because I know that this person is going to take half of my assets and I'm going to have to pay them alimony. Right. And that comes from you saying, you know what? I'm going to trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. That's what you're going to do. Or people just get naked. They get caught out there with their pants down, as they say. Oh man, trust Christian. So you telling me if I go through a divorce and I made more money, quote unquote, through the business, but the trust is in place and it owns the business now, and I'm just there working, how am I going to look at as I'm making money in my relationship? If you paying bills, if the family estate is paying bills, if that business trust is paying bills, how would the significant other care? They don't care. Usually they care when that divorce paper's filed. Why? Because they know they have no access to you as an income source. You're not an income producer. The trust is the income producer, and you don't own the trust, and neither do they. Oh, don't do that. Don't tell me that. Because then the significant other is going to try to take you to court. They're going to try to get child support, and you're going to play like the rest of the politicians. Oh, yeah, I only make $1. Knowing that the company has a fringe benefits package for you, it has an executive benefits package for you. Those are real things. You think they're not in place for people that make significant income? They are. So, for all y'all that want to know how to do it on the public side, well, you're going to minimize your income to your social security number. And the money is going to stay in the company. And the money is going to create a fringe benefits package. It is going to create a package for you to have a car. It is going to make a package for you to live somewhere as a per diem. It is going to create a per diem for clothes. It is going to create a per diem for healthcare. It is going to create a per diem for food. Or y'all want to work from home? Or y'all want to have mobile businesses? Are you maximizing the fringe benefits on the public side? My accountant ain't really helping me like that. You know, we had a trustee come to us the other day. Oh yeah, the lawyer told me I could pay my kids so I could lower my tax liability, but they never followed up and gave me all the information. Because that's not their job. You think it's their job, right? We sharing with y'all, that's how they act on the public side. That's how they move. They're not giving you all the details on the public side of how to write your kids off, or how to pay your kids and get the money. That's what they do on the public side. So we at the vault, we come in with a training system. We give you the information, and then you can go out and find the right team and the right people that are going to help you execute. Why? Because there are many that are ignorant and don't know. Or they'll throw out there, oh yeah, you can write off your children, and then guess what? Are they aggressive? We share with our trustees to find aggressive CPAs. Why? Because they're the ones that's going to file the preparation anyway. So what you scared for? Oh, I'm so scared. What are you scared for? You're not the preparer. You're not the certifier. You didn't certify the record. What you scared for? Can't you correct it? Did the CPA rest you assured that you can correct it? Did the accountant rest assured that you can correct it? Y'all scared about penalties and stuff. Instead of actually saying, man, well, if I mess up, the IRS is actually just going to reach out to you and tell you to fix the problem. They actually going to give you an opportunity to fix the problem. But y'all so scared. Well, we know we did our good deed for today. If you want to reach out to the vault, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. People have asked us about a workshop. We have something tentatively right now in the Carolinas that we're focused on putting together in the first quarter. But we're just going to let y'all know, Trust Christian and Vault, we pretty much have moved on at the vault. We have a substantial amount of trustees that we work with throughout the years, and we're just at the point where it's time to do bigger business. We have trustees that trust us, and we're moving into investment status with trustees that trust us. And so that's where our focus is right now, has a lot of our focus. But when it comes to asset protection for people that are going through divorces, or they know they get ready to file for a divorce, you say, oh, Trust Christian, could I even do this if I'm in the middle of a divorce? You would like to think you can't. We're going to share something with you. Can your company get hostily taken over while you're going through a divorce? Y'all don't even know what will bring you to your knees, but that'll bring a lot of people to their knees. The only difference is it's different when you're in control of something and when you own something. A lot of people just aren't aware of that. But I own it, Trust Christian. And I'm in the middle of divorce. You don't want to hear your company can get hostily taken over while you're in the middle of divorce. You don't even want to hear that. Why? Because quite a few of y'all would be tomorrow and be like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we'll do that hostile. Let's go ahead and take that hostile takeover approach. What are you talking about? Trust Christian and Vault can come into your company in the middle of a divorce and actually buy you out. Dilute your shares, dilute your equity interest in the company when you're going through a divorce. Oh, the lawyer didn't tell me that. Right. Because y'all don't want to know how rough it can get out here for certain people when you actually have something. We've seen these cases. We know about these cases. If you want to protect yourself, asset protection in your marriage and your family, feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, Christian@trustchristian.com. We had 3 trustees for sure in the last quarter. They reached out, actually this quarter already, and shared, hey, we got our letter of determination. We still have a 100% track record on that. We're really thankful for that. And we will continue to work with families and individuals to protect their assets. And for all y'all that think, oh man, I'm gonna get into this trust, man. Trust Christian, man. I should get into the trust, and it should be for the cheapskate. I'm going through the divorce. What do you think you about to pay a divorce lawyer? $1,500? Get out of here. Scram. Oh man, Trust Christian, you trying to tell me I can't protect anything? My LLC, my corporation, my house, my car. I can't do that for less than $1,500? Google the doc. Chat GPT the doc. Y'all want to go there? Cheapskate? No. You're protecting an asset. You got to put some cash out. It's not asking you for your life, but we're sharing with you. Yeah. Oh man, Trust Christian, give us a quote, then give us a general quote. If you say, okay, and y'all don't even want to know, some things are based off of asset size, some things are based off portfolio. But if you say, oh man, I'm just at the bottom, man, I'm only making $100,000 a year. I got a job. My wife has a job, or significant other has a job, and they're making 6 figures too. So it's not a real big deal, but I still want to protect myself. You can do that. Can you go do trust right now? Yes. So once again, are you going to put your assets in the correct position, or are you going to stay naked out in the marketplace? That's it. Feel free to reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian@trustchristian.com. We look forward to hearing from you all the trustees. Appreciate all the individuals and trustees that have reached out so far this year. Look forward to connecting with the individuals this year. Happy 2026 to you all. Once again, we know this is going to be a great year for a lot of people that are in trust, because this is the marketplace where you don't want to have your name on things and you want to control things. So we do want to, we know what time it is over at the vault, and we look forward to hearing from everybody that has the ability to, take advantage of the situation. Long story short, and that want to really get educated. So, Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, the email is Christian@trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all. Peace and joy.